Well, if you remember, it was about a year ago, maybe a little less than a year, somebody gave me a bunch of 35 Remington brass. And, it's one of them things where I don't know the history of the brass. It was all pretty cruddy, and then I found a lot of them that had them odd cracks right on the shoulder there. But I sorted them out, and these are the best of them. And these are all pretty good. And I annealed them, trimmed them, sized them, went through the whole thing, and then I run them in that tumbler because they're really dirty. This is what they were originally. Pretty cruddy. So I ran them in that tumbler, but for the first time since I've owned that tumbler, I actually used those pins and wet tumbled. And I have to say it did a good job on them. They cleaned up very well. But like I said, they were really cruddy. Normally you don't have that problem, but these were bad. So I'm going to load up a bunch of 35 Remington. Normally when I load, I'll load like a couple boxes at a time, and then that gives you enough to play around with. But I kind of want to get ahead on all of the ammunition, so I'm kind of going through and I'm going to load a bunch of 38, or not 38, 308. I've got a whole bunch of brass, I've got a whole bunch of bullets. I've got brand new brass for 308. Things are kind of getting to be in short supply, kind of hard to find sometimes, so I've got all the components for the stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and load a bunch up. But these I've got the cast 200 grain bullets, and I got a whole pile of them. So everything's ready to go, I just got to load them. But it was nice to get these cases cleaned up, because they were pretty cruddy. But they come out of that pretty well. Now, I just have to make darn sure I get them to dry out very well, because one drop of water in there that gets in the primer and you've got a dud. They've got to be really dry, so I've been putting them out in the sun, letting them heat up, and I'm going to let them dry for a couple of days before I even monkey with them again. But like I say, these are 35 Remington, and they're almost all Remington brass. Once in a while you run into a Federal, but they're almost all Remington. I'll maybe sort them as I load them. But it'll be good to have them ahead, because I'm trying to use that gun a little more than I normally do. Another one, this is a 32 Special 94. I'm going to take that out later today, I think. That one, I had a problem. These Lyman tank sights, they got this really little Allen screw that holds these sights in, and that had come loose. So I want to tighten that down and put Loctite in there. There's a set screw, but there's so much play in it in the first place. There really should be a tighter fit in there. But I'm going to Loctite it in place, and hopefully that'll hold, because, it doesn't help you any if it falls out. This actually is we used this aperture. Yeah, see, it's so loose in there, they just move around. On a 348 the other day, because this isn't too bad. It's a fairly good size. But the one that was in that gun, in that 348, was incredibly small. Just like a pinhole. This helped it quite a little, but I'm going to check on my sight stuff and see if I don't have a better setup. And I have to do a little justifying on this one. When you put these sights on, they never quite line up right. What you know, you're supposed to be, you can shim them and get them to work that way. But once I get this thing locked down, what I have to do is actually take the slider out of my regular rear sight, ignore that for the moment, or even take it off if I have to. Then you monkey around with the front sight and get it to line up with this peep sight. Then when you get that squared away, fold this down and then start adjusting on this one to get this one to shoot to the same point as that one did. You know, because this you can adjust, that you cannot. You know, there's no windage on them, which, you know, the answer to that, you know, you have to shim them. And I've heard of like using paper to shim them. Well, no, I'm not going to take shimming with paper. I mean, you could, in theory, you could take a whetstone and grind it down to get it to cant over the way you need it to do it, but it's a lot easier to justify it, like I say, you know, adjust your front to match that, then adjust this to match. So that's what I got to do. But first I got to find that tiny little Allen wrench to take that little bugger down. You know, that's, there are better tang sights than the Lyman one. I would say that right offhand. There are better made ones than them. You know, they're okay, but there are some disadvantages to them. You know, the one I have on the 351, there you've got windage on it, and that actually is a weird, I believe it was a Taurus made one, made for the, or a Rossi it might have been, made for their M92 or something. But these go on nice, you know, because I had to modify the crap out of that one to make it fit on the 351, but that works fine, and you do have that windage adjustment. This one, like I say, you got to shim them. They got the deal here, but all that is to tighten down the pivot action, because we have that too loose every time we shoot, it tips over. You know, they're nice, but they could be better. But that's just the way a lot of things are. But I haven't had that out for a while, so I know I got a box of ammunition, and then I'm going to have to find up, hunt up all my brass and do a whole bucket full of them. And like I say, 308, and of course 45. I always got a lot of 45 I got to do. So I got plenty of work to do. But it was interesting to use it with the pins, the tumbler, and do the wet tumbling. I had not ever done it, like I say. I've used it for dry tumbling. It works fine for that. But I finally broke down and hunted up my pins. I had them since I had them, but I just never used them. But they work fine. It's just you got to do that. You know, you got to make damn sure that you get that brass dry again, because I have had that before when I have got brass wet. One drop of water is all it takes to make it done.